Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony here with you today. I had a viewer ask for some additional tools and resources for how to handle a narcissist or a psychopath. And getting into that, I want to look at definitely some different tools and mechanisms that you can use that will empower you and get you in the right frame of mind, the right mode of thinking for how to better handle these people in a positive way. Now, we've looked at no contact, we look at the pattern interrupt, we've looked at the gray rock method. These are all different tools. For some people, these are not working effectively, and I know that this is a process that is going to take time, so I want to give you some tools that you can utilize that will, you can be able to utilize, through different times, situations, depending on your unique experience. And one of the methods I'm going to recommend right now is based on some of the work by a Dr. Joe Dispenza. And his seminal work is called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And he looks at the neuroplasticity of the brain and the neural mechanisms that are required in learning to form and shape new behavior. And one of his main proponents is the importance of experiencing a change in emotion prior to changing the reality that is occurred in the outside world. In other words, true change, true handling of events, situations, anything that we want to come about has to first occur internally for it to occur outwardly. So in other words, we must create that feeling within and then use that desirable state then and plug that into the situation that we want to change. For example, if we are feeling disempowered around the narcissist, we are feeling fearful around the psychopath, we are feeling brainwashed, we are having rapid thoughts, we are having situations where we do not feel comfortable or unempowered, disempowered, not able to handle them effectively. That's because there's an emotion, there's a feeling that's going on within our minds first, and in our body, and it's cycling as a habit. It's familiar to us. That feeling of fear, that feeling of discomfort is caused by knowledge that we have of this person or ineffective situations where we've been with them and things haven't turned out like we've wanted. So we might be experiencing something called a learned helplessness. Basically, where we are in such a state where we feel almost depressed or helpless, which means we feel powerless over the situation. But there's a term in psychology called learned helplessness, meaning that condition, that situation, that disempowering feeling is actually learned. It is not reality. There was a doctor, I believe Dr. Steigman, who did some research at University of Pennsylvania, and he looked at this, in fact, and how this learned helplessness is thought to be kind of a precursor to depression in people, as well as a precursor to other mental illness. And this situation was also discovered to occur in animals like dogs. For example, if they were being shocked and they were harnessed down, if they were locked down, chained down, and the shock stimulated them and they wanted to move because it was painful. If they had a harness on and learned that they could not get up because this harness was stopping them, they would eventually stop trying to get out of that electric shock and they would just lay there and whine. Now the other group who received the same painful shock, like an electrical shock, like it kind of burns or stings, and they were able then to be released, they were able to jump out. They learned that they could in fact get away from it. Same situation in dealing with the narcissist or psychopath in your life. You might have tried several things and you've maybe not been able to plan an exit strategy effectively yet, or you have not been able to effectively deal with them to the point where you're still feeling anxiety over them, you're still feeling powerless over them, you're not comfortable, you're not feeling like energized or empowered, or like you're able to move on with your life. So those feelings of having respect, of being empowered, of being in a situation where you're able to take action, those have to occur in you emotionally first, and you have to kind of pull those together before you enter the situation with the narcissist or the psychopath. For example, if you were to remember a time when you felt really good, when you felt kind of like on top of the world, or you know, you had accomplished something, maybe you found your first apartment, you know, something that was an extremely positive situation for you, and if you bring that to memory, perhaps it was you know, putting together one of your first parties, it was graduating from college, it was something positive for you. Each person has their own unique situation where you felt a sense of accomplishment and a feeling of peace, happiness, joy, just a very positive experience. If you pull that to mind right now, maybe you were on vacation somewhere and you finally worked so hard and were able to obtain that vacation, and how good it felt once you were there. Now that's a positive emotion once you pull that thought up. It is that thought, that emotion, that needs to be circling through you, that you bring into the environment with this person, with this disordered person. And you need to be able to call up that memory and that emotion simultaneously when you're with that psychopath, that narcissist. And you need to be able to move your body in such a manner that engenders that feeling as well. So your body is reflecting it, your mind is reflecting it, your emotions are reflecting it, and your thoughts as well. So all those are coming together to become an effective tool, so you're no longer kind of at the leverage of this disordered person. You're free of them in that moment. And it's because you've been able to call up the emotion first, even the visualization, if you can do that. Some people have a tough time imagining, and then also you call it up in your body. In other words, you know, you feel the sense of, you feel it registered. It's actually a physiological reaction that occurs in the body as well. So it's like all these working together. It's the mind and the body working as one. Just like, you know, when you jump up, like if you were to, like if you're, you know, in a sports team and you just made like a 3-point shot, you're just like, yes, you know, you have that feeling of exhilaration and happiness and like that charge that runs through your body. It is that feeling in that situation, and that feeling of victory, and that feeling of accomplishment, and that I can do it, that you want to bring to that situation. And you want to be able to carry that through and be able to call on that when you're dealing with them. Now, in terms of, you know, depending on your interaction with them, if you're in the same environment, you definitely don't want to be, you know, around them as much as possible. But I would definitely recommend using the tool of recalling that emotion and having that expression, getting that physiologically going in mind for you, calling it up beforehand. If you think of any gymnast who is about to complete their floor exercise, you know, the gymnast who is doing their tumbling, you know, their flip-flops, their dance, their graceful motions, before they go onto that mat, they're remembering their routine, they're recalling it, they're bringing it to mind. And they're kind of going over things, and then they enter into it, and then they begin their routine, and they're executing it, they're performing it according to what they've trained themselves to do, and their body knows how to follow suit. Same thing, you need to take that same strategy and that same tool into the situation with a narcissist, but you kind of have to train yourself beforehand. And it's going to be two-phase. It's one, you're going to have to forget or unmemorize the fear. You're going to, as I say, let go of the fear. You're going to have to unmemorize it. So you're going to have to deplete that from your body in that moment. And you're going to have to replace it with that feeling that you are calling up, where you're feeling positive, where you're feeling good. You got that first apartment, you're on vacation, you just received a gift. So, you know, a positive memory that you're able to pull up. And that feeling, you want to replace that that feeling of fear with a feeling of positive expectancy, positive emotion, accomplishment, and then you want to take that and you want to enter into the situation with this person with that new feeling. You want to change your body, you want to change your physiology. So if you're usually kind of hunched up, usually when we're in a state of fear, we're kind of curled up like this. You know, the body is in its feeling of fear, it's usually trying to protect itself. It's like hunched over, it's, you know, clenching itself, it's maybe putting its arm up. You know, you might be kind of that way, you know, feeling fearful, you know, clenching your muscles. And in anxiety, you know, those fearful situations, if we're constantly, you know, clenched up like that, that's where you're going to start to get a lot of the muscle aches and the muscle tensions and like the tightness in the jaw and like in the neck and everything like that, because it's you're clenched up from this anxiety. It's this perpetual fear that's been kind of ingrained in you. It's like it's within your subconscious mind that's causing this to run. So you have to become aware of these emotions that are created by the unconscious mind. The same process that digests the food for you, that beats your heart for you, you have to kind of become conscious of these a little bit and learn to kind of shake out of them a little bit, you know, shake it out, shake out that anxiety. And so now your body is relaxed. You're thinking about that moment of accomplishment for you. You're feeling positive, you're feeling empowered, and that's all that you're thinking about. You've completely erased that feeling of fear. You're taking yourself back to that moment entirely, and you're reconditioning your body. You're kind of playing those new positive thoughts, those new positive feelings, those new positive emotions in you, and you're fully that new feeling. And if you have to go and interact with them, you're entering into that situation with that positive feeling, that positive physical vibe, and you're able to speak to them from that situation. And if normally you're looking at them in a state of fear, you're no longer looking at them in that state of fear. You're looking at them not in their eyes, you're looking at their earlobe, you're looking over their shoulder, maybe right above the eyebrows, and you know, you can kind of look up there. And meanwhile, you know, they might ask a question, and you interact with them. Maybe turn your body slightly so that you're not facing them, because when you're facing them, you're taking the brunt of all their energy. So you're taking all their energy on. You turn the body to their side, and you're in that state of positive feeling, and their energy is allowed to pass past you, go past you, and that way you're not taking the brunt of their energy, and you're able to call forth that new memory, and then you speak accordingly. So and you always keep it as short and reflective as possible, so that you are not engaging in the same mindset that they have when they first victimized you. You're a new person in that situation. You're integrating a new mind-body connection. It's very powerful. This might be a lot for you to kind of comprehend in this one session, but it is very, very powerful tool. And replay this video a couple times. I will go over and break it down in different situations, or in different videos, and kind of how you can replay different situations to get yourself there. But it is really that new emotion, that feeling of empowerment that you want to begin to feel and have that flow and kind of circle within your body, and you want to be able to get some power and energy up that is positive in nature, because when you do that, the brain has a chance to rewire itself and unwire and release the old feeling, the old fear, the old reactions to them. So you're going to be really coming to them from a new place. You're going to be coming to them as almost a new person. You're coming to them from a new mindset that is unengaged from the fear, the threat, the brainwashing, because you're in a whole nother emotional, physiological connection that you created within yourself. Now, This is going to take some practice, and you really need to call forth those positive things, and you really need to bring that through a lot of your day, that positive feeling, that positive visualization. If you've never done visualization before, I would highly recommend using this as a tool, and we'll do some other videos in the future that will really be able to focus on visualization as a tool in and of itself. But I think that disconnecting physically, the physical emotion of disconnecting and unremembering, erasing that fear, not just forgetting, but so that the fear is not driving you. I'm not suggesting you forget what they have done. I'm not suggesting that, because that is very important to keeping you out of recontacting them. What I'm recommending is you learn to deprogram your body from that chronic state of fear where you're always hunched over and you're always clenching yourself and you're always like, oh my God, you're shrinking down. By the end of the day, you're like exhausted. So don't interact with them at the end of the day when you're exhausted. Learn to stand up, learn to call forth that great feeling, and you're looking at them with new eyes, and you're responding to them in a very short, curt manner. Maybe you've turned your body rather than facing right at them. You're no longer facing right at them. You're turning aside a little bit, and you're allowing their reaction. You're looking up. You're not giving them, a lot of attention. Is coming from a state of indifference. It's kind of not careless, but just to attend to, and then you move it on. Peace and harmony here with you here today. I hope this video helps. Please share and subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions. Have a beautiful day.